Ithaca by C.P. Caverfi. As you set out for Ithaca, hope your road is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Lystrygonians, Cyclops, angry Poseidon, don't be afraid of them. You'll never find things like that on your way as long as you keep your thoughts raised high, as long as a rare excitement stirs your spirit and your body. Lystrygonians, Cyclops, wild Poseidon, you won't encounter them unless you bring them alongside inside your soul, unless your soul sets them up in front of you. Hope your road is a long one. May there be many summer mornings when, with what pleasure, what joy, you enter harbors you're seeing for the first time. May you stop at Phoenician trading stations to buy fine things, mother of pearl and coral, amber and ebony, sensual perfume of every kind, as many sensual perfumes as you can. And may you visit many Egyptian cities and learn and go on learning from their scholars. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you're destined for. But don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, so you're old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you have gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you the marvelous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. She has nothing left to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you have become, so full of experience, you have understood by then what these Ithacas mean.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 16th European Clubhouse Conference. My name is Guido Valentini, and I'm the director of Club Ithaca Roma. We are very pleased to host this conference today and to contribute to the Clubhouse Europe work. Here with me, there is Aminda Lee. She will moderate our conference today. Thank you, Aminda, for being here with us today. And please, it's over to you. So enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Guido. Thank you, and good morning, everyone. And thank you for making the effort to tune in from whenever you are to listen to this 16th European Clubhouse Conference. As Guido said, my name is Aminda Lee. I'm a British and Italian journalist and moderator, former BBC, now living and working out of Rome. I'm a firm believer in the work of clubhouses, and so I'm honored and delighted to be the moderator of this virtual event. It's wonderful that so many people from around Europe and beyond are gathering today online. In fact, we have registrations from around 20 countries. As you would expect, that all the major countries in Europe are represented, along with places like Lapland, the Faroe Islands, Iceland, Belarus, Israel, Turkey, and of course, the USA. There is a busy program ahead of us with discussions and debates with high-level speakers exploring mental health scenarios, work, digitalization and innovation, and the future of clubhouses in Europe, among many other things. We also have several cultural moments planned throughout the day to showcase some of the amazing art, photography, poetry, and music produced in clubhouses around Europe. In a moment, we're going to hear greetings from the Progetto Ithaca Foundation, which has organized this conference, and then from Clubhouse Europe and Clubhouse International. The opening session will conclude with a video from members of Club Ithaca Roma, where we have the control room for this event. But before we start, I have some practical information to pass on to you. For most of the day, you will all be on mute with your cameras off, apart from the all-together live greetings this afternoon, which will be a chance for everyone to say hello to each other. I'll explain a bit more about that when we get there. There will be opportunities for you to send in questions via the chat function on Zoom. Please try and use that just for questions. If you want to chat amongst yourselves, you can do that during the breaks. And so, without any further delay, I would like to start the proceedings with a welcome video from Olivier Pesce, who is president of Progetto Etica Roma.
I'm very honored and delighted that Progetto Itaca Roma, which I represent here, was given the task to organize this international conference, a prestigious event that will certainly contribute to make our civil society more conscious of the mental health problems affecting people and to take concrete measures to tackle their painful effects. And I'm honored and pleased to welcome those who are present and are participating in our meeting, albeit virtually, notwithstanding the difficulties that the pandemic has caused by limiting our movements and our social and human contacts. I also wish to thank the friends, persons and companies who made possible the event with their generous help. We would have liked to be physically united with a great number of you. We would have liked to offer to the conference the setting of this 3 millenary city, of its piazzas, its churches, its works of art, its food. We must make do with the presence that the internet offers us and make the best of it. But Ithaca means coming back, nostos in the language of Odysseus, and I wish to close hoping that we shall able to summon a real return of each and every clubhouse in our city as soon as possible in a secure setting in order to tackle altogether the problems which we wish to solve. Thank you very much and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. That was a fantastic location, I'm sure you will agree. It's a shame you aren't able to visit it in person right now, but the Rome is not going anywhere and neither is its clubhouse. So there will be other opportunities for you to visit in the future. Also, thanks to the prizes for all the entries to Express Yourself initiative, which we'll be seeing during the intervals throughout the day. Now I'd like to turn to Beatrice Bergamasco, who is president of the Italian association Progetto Etica in Milan. She brought the clubhouse model to Italy and helped establish the umbrella organization Fondazione Progetto Etica. She's joining us live from Milan now.
Hello, welcome. I hope you will hear me. Welcome to all the European clubhouses to Italy and Progetto Itaca. Thank you, Oliviero, Aminda, and Guido, but I am not actually the president of Progetto Itaca Milano. I am a very strong advocate of clubhouses here in Italy. And as you said, we would have loved to host you in person and organize some visits around our beautiful country. But we are all in lockdown as most of Europe. So it will be for sure another, and I hope very soon visit. So welcome from our office in Milan, where we are now. And I would like to explain briefly our organization here. We have an umbrella organization under Fondazione Progetto Itaca. It was founded in 2012 from the association in Milan. That was the first one. And we have many different locations. Today we have 15 different locations and around 500 volunteers working for all our associations. As you might know, we have our auspice agency, the foundation, has many courses like training courses on mental health information, on our activities, to our volunteers. Then we have a green line, education programs in schools, self-help, the NAMI programs, family to family and peer-to-peer. And then we have housing and weekend programs, of course. And fundraising is very important for us, as in Italy, we have very little economic support from the government, but mainly from business and bank, family foundation, and of course, a strong group of individuals. But of course, the most important and challenging program are the clubhouses called Club Itaca in Italy. Many of you know for sure our Milano clubhouse and our Rome clubhouse, because we have been to many international events and conventions. But maybe, and because they are both accredited, but maybe you don't know that we have 4 more clubhouses active and running, and I hope they will go through accreditation very soon. These are in Florence, Firenze, in Naples, in Palermo, Sicily, and in Parma, that is a small and very pretty town in the center of Italy. So just hearing these names, I believe you imagine these beautiful cities. And members and staff all over Italy put together a brief video to show you where we are and how lively we are. And so I'll be greeting you today, but I am sure that when all this pandemic will be over, there will be another opportunity to take you around in Italy. So thank you and arrivederci from Milano.
Hi guys, welcome to this seminar. My name is Elena and I'm member of Club Itaca Milan. Now I'll show you some pictures of our beautiful clubhouse. Enjoy!
Thank you for sending in that video, and I'm glad we did manage to see you in vision eventually in the end. Thank you everyone for bearing with us when we only heard her voice. And now I'd like to pass the word to Wanda Reitzma, who is President of Clubhouse Europe and who is joining us today from an unusual location.
Good morning. Good morning, colleagues and friends. It is with great pleasure that I can share with you some words on this morning. A special morning on a special conference. The 16th European Clubhouse Conference, but the first virtually one. I'm very grateful and with great respect for Club Ithaca Roma who make this happen. The heart of my speech will be an important aspect of our international presence, namely our strategy on growth. I think that we have to change this strategy. I think we have to start with sharing our expertise and knowledge with others instead of copying the Clubhouse model exactly as it is all over the world. Understand me well, I don't want to stop with clubhouses at all. And for two reasons. First of all, a good old Dutch saying says, never throw away your old shoes before you have new ones. And the second reason is that we need the existing clubhouses so much to be a huge network of a sort of research laboratory on examine what we are doing so that we can exactly know what we are doing when we advise others to raise community-based recovery. I recorded my speech to make it more attractive. I hope this is somewhat attractive. And the name of my speech will be My Sermon on the Mount in broken English. Dear colleagues and friends, I'm standing here on the top of the Foia, the highest mountain in the Algarve in Portugal, and I did it a little bit on purpose because I will show you that I already be a little bit in another role towards the Clubhouse world, namely in the role of an observant, not as a participant anymore. I want to say goodbye, and I want also to share some of my findings and conclusions and observations with you, and I hope you will accept them as a gift, a goodbye gift, and not in a way to get something back, but more in a shamanic way. So it's only the pleasure of giving and I'm not expecting anything from you. Just up to you what you do with it. I entered the Clubhouse world in 2008, and it was really what I always called the crown on my working career. I started as a psychiatric nurse, worked many years for the Union for Health Workers, made social contracts, was a professional bargainer, and I ended as an independent manager, also in a lot of health institutions and organizations. And in that role, I came in the Clubhouse in Amsterdam in 2008, only for a few months. And you see, still in 2020, I'm still here. But now it's time to say goodbye. When I entered the Clubhouse, I was already immediately struck by the magic of it. I noticed there is a totally different situation I was used to before. I felt the atmosphere, the welcoming atmosphere, the warm atmosphere, but most of all, the relationships are good, the people are working, and there was a very collegial atmosphere. But most of all, I saw people recover, people with suffering from severe mental illness, I met before in earlier experiences, and now I see them recover and get their life back, and I was very, very astonished by it. I was surprised that it could happen, and more I feel this magic of the Clubhouse, and I believed in it, and I became an admirer and an active supporter. That was the reason, formerly the reason, that I started with my international activities, with the preparations of Clubhouse Europe, and in 2011 we started Clubhouse Europe. Clubhouse Europe is started as an organization above all to disseminate the model in Europe. Dissemination was our greatest goal that we want to achieve. And that's what we worked on very hard all those years. And despite all the good things I experienced, the enthusiasm I met with other organizations, and the love for the Clubhouse in many, many situations, there was one thing that was missing. I don't see any growth of Clubhouse in Europe. There was growth. We have now about 80 Clubhouses in Europe, about 50 accredited, 30 are not accredited, but we have 80 Clubhouses. But still, we talk about a population of 500 million people, and thinking about 1/5 has to deal with serious mental problems in their lives. We talk about 100 million people who are suffering from mental issues with problems they can't solve by themselves. And only 80 Clubhouses for them available. And that was the big question. Why didn't we see growth in the Clubhouse world? Then, a few years ago, we think we have to distinguish ourselves on quality. And then we introduced stricter rules on the accreditation policy on Clubhouses. I supported that policy. I think that's a good thing to distinguish yourself on quality. And we worked very hard to introduce and to the accreditation policy of Clubhouse International. And we see a lot of Clubhouses are getting accredited who were not accredited before. But still, the growth is not what we want to see. There is relative growth in accredited Clubhouses, but not to the tremendous need in the world for psychiatric solutions, possibilities, new perspectives for the people. Noticing that, I was questioning myself, what's the reason why our Clubhouse model is not so popular as I think it should be? We are not invisible for other organizations anymore. We are well known enough to think to achieve our goal when we think it's the invisibility is our problem, because we became visible. So what's the problem with Clubhouse? That other organizations, governments, reform programs does not adapt the Clubhouse model as a solution for the needs they see. I think we have a too close proposition, and even with some colonial aspects in it. It's an American solution, it's closed, but also the language is English. So what I think, we have to change our strategy dramatically. We have to change towards a more consulting, a more advising manner of bringing our message. In the 70 years we exist, we became specialists on community-based recovery. And if there is the need for community-based recovery, and you see it everywhere in every report of all international organizations dealing with mental health, community-based recovery is the solution. So I think if we present ourselves as specialists on community-based recovery in an advising, consulting way, then we have much more chance to achieve what we want, namely that our model, the ideas we developed, become a major actor in all the programs which are developed right now in the world to cover the need for better mental health. So I think that we don't put that energy anymore in creating more clubhouses, but in transferring ourselves into this consulting way of approaching the need in the world. That means that we have no training bases anymore, but knowledge centers, and that our international organizations are focusing on giving this advice for anyone who wants to have it. I think that's the way we should develop our Clubhouse movement to make it successful. To end what this talk to you, I'm thinking I have a fantasy, and I want to share this fantasy with you. It's the year 2120, 100 years from now, and I visit the Global Museum on Psychiatry. It's a huge and great and beautiful building. I enter the building and I see a hall, and the hall carries the name Pauli Löya Hall. And all other names are familiar to me, the Joel Corcoran Corridor, the Ken Dudek Wing, and then I enter a hall with all desks and tables in it, and all the tables are screens on it with computers. I go to a table and see that the nameplate is on it with my name, Wander Reitsma, 1952 till 2045. And I think I have some years to go. I'm happy. I see the chair, grab the chair, and on the chair is the name Kinga Jendrzak. I sit on that chair, and the screen, the Petra Nieuwlaat screen, I touch that screen, and an article pops up, the Clubhouse movement from 1948 till 2048. The article describes the major impact this movement has on the nowadays network of centers, society development centers they call, run by people with lived experience, for people with lived experience. And I'm so happy that I read this article and I think by myself, I was part of this movement and I'm very proud of it. I hope you will realize this fantasy. I wish you all the power and with all my heart, good luck and goodbye.
Dear Vander, your video is really great. Thank you so much. I had to watch it twice. I have to watch it twice. The first time last night and the second time this morning. I find it emotional, very suggestive, and of a great impact. My compliments for you. I share your fantasy and I can see the vision you transmit. We should empower a consulting approach and convert training centers in knowledge institutes or something like that, as you said, as you suggest. I like this idea very much. And please, Vander, consider to enjoy us in the future as a leader in the great expert committee that we could eventually create in the future. It's really important for us and for our board and Clubhouse Europe that you keep on working side by side with us. Thank you so much.
Vander, I don't know if you want to say something in reaction to that.
Yeah, Guido is trying to seduce me to take part in all kinds of committees and working groups, but well, I consider it very seriously, Guido. That's for now.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for that recording. It was incredibly interesting, and I'm sure some of your ideas will be discussed later on today during the discussions, particularly the ones of the future for Clubhouse Europe. So thank you very much indeed for that. Now, obviously, any event about clubhouses must have some input from the international side. And so now I'm delighted to introduce a recorded welcome from the President of Clubhouse International, Nicholas Ratult.
Buongiorno, buongiorno a tutti. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Clubhouse International Board and all of the staff, we are very sad not to be with you in person in the beautiful, eternal city of Roma. But I can assure you that from 7,000 kilometers away, we are all there in Rome, in heart and mind. Last year, when we were together for the World Seminar in Oslo, who could have imagined what a different place the world would look like today? The devastating effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on lives and loved ones and the way we live now is felt all over the world. I hope that our world leaders will learn better from this experience how to deal with such a pandemic if and when it arises again. It seems that there is light at the end of the tunnel, with the first results of a vaccine ready for use by the end of the year and early in 2021. Let's hope so. Each of us can only react and act as to how we can make a difference around us. All of you in Clubhouses, members and staff members, have understood that, and you've been extraordinary in adapting to new methods to be close to your community and continuing to provide the support that is so vital in this period when isolation and distress are so present. I want to commend and acknowledge you all on your resilience and capacity to adapt, faced with this huge challenge. Even though physical buildings have been closed, clubhouses were never closed, and you continue to support your members virtually by every means possible. In these difficult times, we can celebrate that we have 313 member clubhouses worldwide, with 11 new clubhouses joining Clubhouse International this year, and this despite the pandemic. We have at least 4 more openings planned before December the 31st. There are currently 246 accredited clubhouses in our network, just under 80%, and that is the largest number of accredited clubhouses in our history. So congratulations to you. We have 50 Clubhouse startup groups working to open clubhouses in their communities, and there are 13 of those in European locations: Turkey, France, Poland, Sweden, the Netherlands, Norway, Belarus, Poland, and England. The group starting the very first clubhouse in Turkey, in Istanbul, is led by Kerim Arhan, who interestingly is currently working at Fontenhuset Malmö in Sweden. Kerim also completed a fellowship program with Clubhouse International, which involved learning the tools to successfully start a clubhouse. Congratulations, Kerim. And I want to acknowledge Clubhouse France, dear to my heart, as since the start 10 years ago, there are now 4 clubhouses there, with the opening of Nantes, which was recently completed, and soon Lille, and a 6th one slated. Fantastic work in such a short space of time. Let me talk a little bit about what we do on the board of Clubhouse International. Our board is made up of 13 members, of which 5 directors who are either based in Europe or who are European and based in the US like me. Our commitment is to keep Clubhouse International strong and expand the number of people that have access to an accredited clubhouse. This involves fundraising, as we are so far 100% privately funded, introducing the clubhouse model to more business and political leaders, and looking for new board members. In fact, if any of you know of someone who could be a potential board member, please let Joel or me know, as we are always seeking to refresh our board with new ideas and new contacts. Our strategic priorities in 2021 continue to include expansion, quality through accreditation, and also data acquisition so that we can promote the model with the hard facts that governments and donors need to see nowadays, and provide this data through a new portals database which you clubhouses will be able to access easily. We will work more closely with clubhouse coalitions throughout the world to support your efforts to advocate for clubhouse funding and in strengthening member clubhouses. We recently participated in an advocacy partnership with the World Federation for Mental Health, the World Health Organization, and United for Global Mental Health, along with dozens of member clubhouses to call attention to World Mental Health Day and join our voices in a call to action and march for mental health to encourage nations to make greater investment in mental health. I hope that governments will now recognize the importance of mental health as one of the positive results of the pandemic is an elevated awareness around mental health. You have a busy agenda. So in finishing, I want to thank Clubhouse Ithaca Roma and Clubhouse Europe for organizing this virtual conference under difficult circumstances. And I wish you all a very successful, productive, and above all, safe conference. Please remember to wear your mask, keep a safe distance. The vaccine is just around the corner.
Thank you, Nicholas. In fact, we are socially distanced here today. This is why we're not wearing the masks in the room. And also because we do realize that not everybody has English as a mother tongue. So we want you to be able to hear us properly. So we're not putting our masks on. But when we're not on air, we will be putting them on over lunchtime. Don't you worry. We're taking all the precautions we need to. We want to stay safe. And so now we're going to have a further welcome video, this time from Joel Corcoran, who, as you may know, is the General Director of Clubhouse International. Let's hear from him now.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you at the European Clubhouse Conference. I am pleased that even though we are in the grips of the coronavirus pandemic, that we can still all be together, even if it's only virtually. Thank you to Clubhouse Ithaca Roma and Clubhouse Europe for organizing this event and all of your hard work. We really need it. I'd like to take a moment at the beginning of my talk and acknowledge Vander Reitzma for his work and leadership with Clubhouse Europe. Vander has been the chair of the Clubhouse Europe board for several years now, and now he's in the last month of his term. Vander, I appreciate you and your leadership and your willingness to contribute your time and energy even after you have been retired from daily Clubhouse employment. Thank you for your service to our Clubhouse community. We are all grateful for your many contributions. As I have been preparing these remarks for this and other Clubhouse conferences, the obvious theme emerges: how the pandemic has changed the world and how it has changed how we work together in the Clubhouse International community. We often say that the virus has changed everything. We say that it's challenged how we work and how we live. But while this is true, the more I think about it, the more I realize it is also true that many things have not changed at all. Yes, a lot of things are different. The pandemic has caused much damage to people's lives, to families, businesses, schools, and social institutions. It's disrupting everyone, no matter who we are or where we live. We are all affected. We all want to be finished with the coronavirus, hopefully soon. In some ways, the pandemic has also changed how we work in the Clubhouse community. Almost all of our buildings have been closed or operating at reduced attendance. Some clubhouses have partially reopened and then closed again. Meal service and evening and weekend and holiday activities are smaller or postponed. Side-by-side unit work is very different when members and staff are not in the same room and close to each other. Of course, a lot of people have been sick, and many have died. Yes, the virus is dangerous and disruptive. We have all been challenged to be careful and take precautions and practice physical distancing. The truth is, though, that the virus has not changed the fundamental concept of Clubhouse. The way I see it, the Clubhouse model is not a building or a workday structure. It is not meal service or unit meetings. It's not about whiteboards and attendance records. The Clubhouse model is the intentional development and nurturing of a community organized to support people living with mental health problems. The goal of the community is to create successes for the individual and the whole by making sure that everyone has the help and opportunities to overcome those mental health problems and lead a personally satisfying life. The cornerstone of the model is the commitment to meaningful and real relationships where we count on each other and we work together to make sure that everyone is welcomed, included, and given the opportunity to contribute. At a clubhouse, you know each other and you take care of each other. Our international standards for clubhouse programs describe the structures and operating procedures of a clubhouse. Some of those structures and procedures are suspended or difficult to manage in these times. However, the core values behind them are not. Creating a welcoming and caring community and believing in the potential of each person to contribute to the group, regardless of their mental health challenges, proved to be an extraordinary vehicle for reducing social isolation and restoring lives. It was true when the first clubhouse opened in 1948, and it continues to be true today. What you do in your clubhouse communities is extraordinary. It is special, and it is uniquely different. The clubhouse way of working is extraordinary because we bring people together, people who are typically marginalized, excluded, and often not at their best when we meet them. We bring people together and we create community. We create shared purpose and opportunity, and we work hard to include everyone. For 72 years now, we've seen how creating community can pull people living with mental illness out of loneliness and desperation. We have seen how individuals can rebuild their lives through work, friendships, and repeated chances to succeed. There is plenty of evidence, new and old, published and unpublished, peer-reviewed and anecdotal, that demonstrates the effectiveness of our model. Clubhouses excel at helping people fill their days with meaningful work and activities, with school and other educational pursuits, employment, recreation, and social networks. Clubhouses are one-stop shops for help with accessing needed healthcare and social services. Your extraordinary clubhouse communities are sophisticated opportunity systems where a life with mental illness is understood and where each person is given the time, the encouragement, and as many chances as they need to succeed. Those of you who work as staff in a clubhouse understand that your role is to be a partner in recovery journeys. Your work in the clubhouse community is as a full participant, acting as a talent scout, a cheerleader, an encouraging supporter, and a friendly guide along the way. The necessary roll up your sleeves and get in there and work requirements of a clubhouse staff person are not for everyone. But for those of you who do it, you are the fuel that powers the community. You are extraordinary and you make a difference. During these recent months, clubhouses across Europe and across the world have demonstrated the power of community. It has never been more important to feel connected and know that you can count on others. As soon as it became apparent that the pandemic was upon us, clubhouses sprang into action. We all learned as much as we could, we shared information, and we adjusted to the fast-changing reality. Clubhouse buildings were closed, but clubhouse communities were not and are not. You rallied around each other, and you created plans to make sure that every member was safe and had the support they needed. Your daily work quickly became virtual and mobile, and clubhouse members and staff changed their activities and routines to meet the demands of a new work scheme. Video meetings, social media, telephone calls, food delivery, and home visits became the way we work together. In our Clubhouse International work, we have virtually connected with most of you and learned about the incredible and swift ways which you have taken care of each other and kept your daily work going. In fact, many of you report that even though you had to close your buildings, you have seen an increase in active participation by members. That's extraordinary. In addition to the work you're doing at your own clubhouses, many of you have been sharing ideas and strategies with the rest of the Clubhouse International network. Through webinars and social media, video meetings and conferences, there is nothing ordinary about you and your clubhouses. You have risen to the occasion and continue to thrive in spite of the challenges. Now going forward, we have new challenges and opportunities in front of us. It doesn't seem like this pandemic is going anywhere soon, and that means we will likely continue to see many clubhouse buildings closed or with limited in-person capacity each day. It will also likely mean that the government budgets will be under pressure and community mental health funding could be reduced or eliminated in some services. We will have to be creative and determined to continue to provide Clubhouse support to our current members and to be open for new members that we've not met yet. One thing is very clear to me during these challenging times. Clubhouses are needed now more than ever. Now more than ever, our Clubhouse communities will need to step up and find ways to take care of each other and be part of the global voice advocating for more investment in mental health. As always, we must rely on our own model and our international standards and core values to carry us through. We cannot swing and sway with every new trend and give up our principles in pursuit of fleeting funding and notoriety. But within the context of the brilliant relationships-based Clubhouse communities, we can raise our voices and join the growing chorus to get governments to invest in more mental health. We can be part of the change. We are all going to need to increase our efforts in our virtual Clubhouse work too. We will have to learn more about how to access and use technology to stay connected and to keep our daily routines and work going. We will have to be creative about supported education, employment, work, and food security for members. At Clubhouse International, we have worked hard to gather and disseminate information to all of you about creative Clubhouse practices and innovations during this pandemic, and we'll continue to do that. We will collect more information to share about safely reopening and expanding digital services to those who can't come to our clubhouses, even when they are reopened. We will expand our data collection and survey work to better understand our strengths and needs as a Clubhouse community. Today, we are working with our training bases to develop virtual training programs to complement our on-site trainings. We are also in the process of developing virtual accreditation processes so that we can restart our accreditation program even in the midst of the pandemic. Additionally, we are updating and digitizing much of our training and resource materials to help support your Clubhouse during this time when traveling for training isn't possible, and to expand the accessibility of our resources moving forward in the digital age. We expect that the development of these new resources will help the Clubhouse International community reach out and connect with countries and communities that have not traditionally been able to participate in Clubhouse training, conferences, and other educational opportunities. Nicholas talked about some of our activities, accomplishments, and plans this year. Let me mention a few other good things that have happened during the pandemic months that are encouraging for our Clubhouse International network. In the coming weeks, we will launch a new Clubhouse Portals initiative, giving each member Clubhouse important access to their current and historical training, accreditation, and membership information, along with other resources. A description of the Clubhouse model and Clubhouse International was recently included in a major publication produced by the World Federation for Mental Health about World Mental Health Day. You can find that publication on their website. The World Health Organization is planning a publication that will include the Clubhouse model, highlighting Phoenix Clubhouse in Hong Kong as an example of a mental health program intervention that meets international quality rights expectations. The Clubhouse model will also be highlighted in a soon-to-be-published book by Cambridge University Press and edited by our friends at Harvard about the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities and Supported Decision-Making. These are all great public awareness publications bringing Clubhouse information to the rest of the world. I'm pretty excited about it. Finally, I'm pleased to announce that in 2021, Clubhouse International will develop a new working group for recognized Clubhouse coalitions. With the growth and advancement of more than 20 Clubhouse coalitions around the world, it is more than time to include and draw on the representative experience and interest of Clubhouse coalition leadership in the strategic thinking and implementation of Clubhouse International's priorities and goals. It is our hope that this new group, the Clubhouse Coalitions Group, will help us improve and expand the positive impact of our training-based group, the accreditation faculty, the Clubhouse Advisory Council, and the Board of Directors, along with the Clubhouse International staff. Look for more information about this group in the coming months. Again, and finally, I want to thank each of you who has worked so hard to ensure that your Clubhouse community remains a strong and effective web of support for its members, especially during this complicated and difficult time. Together, we can do this. We are doing this, and will continue to. I wish you a good conference and the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel, and thanks to all the Clubhouse International faculty members, staff, and board members for all your support and great work. Thank you. So, Mindy, now, what's on the program?
Well, as you all know, clubhouses operate as one big community, rather like a family. And while we've met some of the major players from the organizational side, to paraphrase Charles Dickens, a clubhouse wouldn't be a clubhouse without its members. And so to complete the picture, we now have a video contribution from 3 members of Club Ithaca Roma, Roberta, Caterina, and Francesco.
Hello everyone, my name is Francesco and I'm 43 years old. When I was younger, I lived in a small town in the south of Italy with my parents. I often felt quite depressed because I had few friends and couldn't make my wishes come true. For example, I couldn't find a job, even though I had a degree in foreign languages and did very well at school, at university. I usually stayed at home and was isolated from the other people. I spent a lot of time reading and surfing the web and sometimes a walk, but I was conscious that this routine couldn't last forever. My parents wanted to help me, so I talked to a few psychologists and a psychiatrist and was diagnosed with a bipolar disorder. I started taking drugs prescribed by my psychiatrist, but I was trying to find a way out of all this until 4 years ago in 2016, my mother heard of Club Ithaca on TV, and after speaking on the phone to its director, Guido Valentini, I made my decision. I moved to Rome and started attending the clubhouse where I soon met other people suffering from mental disorder and made a lot of friends. On the other hand, I was not fully independent because I had to share a room with my sister and things were a bit difficult. But it was a turning point in my life. I usually worked in the clerical unit where I mostly did back office work, worked with the PC, and at reception wrote some articles for our newsletter. Besides having a good knowledge of English and other foreign languages, I could speak to other members from other clubhouse via email too. I also organized an English course for the other members of the clubhouse because English is very important nowadays in every kind of job, and the clubhouse model started in the USA. I got on very well with my new friends, and we often went out together for a pizza or a walk in the city. Thanks to my director, Guido Valentini, and the other staff members, I've made a lot of progress in my work and have improved my hard and soft skills. After passing the first step of the transitional employment, I started working as an intern for a very important American company, Accenture, within the job station project last year. I usually do data entry work, and my tutors were all very satisfied with my work. I was very kind to them. My director often praised me for this. So I obtained the renewal of my internship, and now I hope I'll finally get a real contract of employment. Now I live by myself with other people in a flat near the club. The rent is quite high, as it usually happens in Rome, but I can't complain. I'm very happy in this new situation. Things are getting better. My internship with Accenture expires in April 2021, and I want now to reach another important goal, to become fully independent. But I will always thank the Club Ithaca Roma for this chance in my new life. What I have really appreciated here is the fact that you work on your healthy part and bring out your talents and skills. People suffering from mental illness can have a normal life, reach their goals and be happy.
Hello, My name is Caterina, and I'm the first member of Club Itaca Roma. In these years, the clubhouse has changed a lot. In the beginning, we didn't have kitchen like we have now. We brought with us sandwiches of pizza. When it was possible to use the kitchen, it was a turning point because there was a team of cooks that worked for themselves and for the other members who could choose from a tasty menu at a very cheap price. We celebrate birthdays with cakes, and I have introduced another kind of celebration, the day when I was discharged from a mental hospital in a place called Monte Compatri. It happened on 9th October 2014. So this year we celebrate the 6th anniversary with a special dish called savory scones. Those of you who come from English-speaking world know certainly what it is. My life has changed consistently because I no longer live alone, but I share a great part of the day with my fellow members. We can go out and have a bite, as around here there are several pubs and restaurants at relatively cheap prices. For a time, we used to go to a pub called Mezzo Litro, half a liter, on Friday afternoon, before the COVID started. It was very cozy, and we could drink soft drink and the rest, and then we were served small tidbits free of charge. Another one, at a little more expensive, is called Cibo Food, which is open 24 hours a day. I don't know now if with the curfew, people will stay in the area with the tables, or if they can order food at home. At present, we are not so many as before, as we are afraid of COVID-19, but we can communicate with Skype, a video conference which takes place in the morning and in the early afternoon. I usually take part to the reception activity and not in the wash up because I have problems with the lumbago, and so I cannot bend on the wash basins. I like to come to the clubhouse, but sometimes I don't feel like coming as I feel depressed and I don't want to go out and prefer to stay at home. But when I come to the clubhouse Itaca Roma, I feel rejoicing because I'm happy to be with my fellow members because we share the activities with my friends.
Hello everyone, my name is Roberta. I'm from Rome and since 2016 I'm a member of Club Itaca Roma. I have often suffered from panic attacks, depression, along social isolation until I was diagnosed a mental disorder. Everything started when I was 25. I was taking my degree in law and had just broken an harmful relationship. I had always been a person with good social relationships and got on well with my family. However, I got in touch with a psychologist and eventually went to a psychiatrist. She has assisted me for 10 years. When I was conscious of my mental disorder, I realized that my life had been changed. In fact, I broke with my old friends from school and university, but I could rely on my family. They trust me, and they didn't leave me by myself in this new phase of my life. Thanks to my father, who found out the website of Club Itaca Roma, whose services are free, I decided to start anew, as both regarded both work and social relationships, by calling the club, where I was soon very kindly and professionally welcomed. This was my first step out of my isolation, of the isolation caused by my suffering. In fact, I was stressed when I was writing my thesis, and I wasn't really interested in what I was studying. And also my latest job did not meet my new health needs. In the beginning, I was surprised by the fact I was going into a very stimulating place, even if protected. I gradually resumed my daily routine and felt myself again as a part, an active member of the society. I have become more and more conscious of the fact that I am not the only one who has a mental disorder. I have met a lot of colleagues and my new boyfriend. I worked for 3 years in the restaurant cafeteria unit and had the chance to train myself in a professional kitchen. Then I decided to change my work unit in order to do a job which met my professional goals. I work in the clerical unit now and do a lot of activities like communication, back office, and usually join fundraising events. I also attend a jewelry course and other workshop in the afternoon. Besides, I also a member of the board of Progetto Itaca. So I found out that I was no longer afraid of not being normal and can every often reach my goals. I am focusing my energies in meaningful activities and spend my time in a very satisfactory way. I'm happy of what I do for the other people. I can also say that Clubhouse International method really works in its standards, are successfully applied every day. I would like to underline that the fact that our day is made of meaningful activities, and you focus on your health part and not your illness. You have an healthy life, improve your self-esteem, and listen to your wishes and inclinations. It's like a rebirth. I live now with my boyfriend and 2 cats and take my drugs. I feel very happier than before, thanks to the people I met in the clubhouse. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Well, thanks to Roberta, Caterina, and Francesco for sharing their stories. Guido, did they write them themselves?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Caterina, Roberta, and Francesco. Yes, of course, they write the speeches by themselves. For instance, it's the first time I see the speech for all the time that they do it. And Francesco and Gaia, our staffs, help them to put together the video and things. So it's really something that comes from them. And I'm really happy to share this experience with you. And I think it's an image of one of the 90 clubhouses in Europe. We are all very the same. I hope also the Italian English is enough to understand from all of our audience today. So I think it's time for take a break, grab a cup and a coffee, and we will meet you again in about 10 minutes at 11:15 Central Europe time. Thank you and see you in 10 minutes.